Let's bring in the FEMA Administrator, Brock Long. Mr. Long, thank you for joining us this morning. You just heard the mayor talk about her situation right there. Do you think, as the president wrote yesterday, she's demonstrated poor leadership? And down in Puerto Rico, have you encountered anyone who's asked for everything to be done for them?
So the success of a disaster response is predicated on unity of command. And the bottom line is, just a few minutes ago, we had a press conference from the Joint Field Office in San Juan. That operation has hundreds of people in it working around the clock to set the strategic objectives, not only FEMA, DOD, but also the governor's objectives. And we've been working with mayors all around Puerto Rico to make sure that we have a strategy and that we've been executing that strategy going forward. The unfortunate aspect is that we've tried to embed my staff, with the mayor, and I think she just answered the question. I think if I just heard correctly, she's been there once. This is an operation that has to take place all the time. She does have access to commodities. We've established 11 regional distribution hubs, not distribution points, but hubs where there are large quantities of commodities and food. And many of what we're doing is that we had to set up a foundational baseline capability to be able to get, commodities to the jurisdictions. And in many cases, the mayors are stepping up and driving in to get their commodities and going back. Mayor Otero, right outside of San Juan, in the city of Guayanado, has been very pleased with what we've been doing and the strategy that we've been executing, and so are many of the mayors. The problem is if you're not connected into that joint field office, then you don't understand commander's intent, you don't understand the successes of what's been done versus what needs to be done, where the gaps are. And, George, the bottom line is that, our guys have been working 42 days now across Texas, Florida, both islands, and we're going to continue to push forward. We're not satisfied until the situation is stabilized and sustained. We push everything into that island that we can. And it's not just pushing everything in, it's getting it distributed, but we're also having to do a majority of the work because of diminished capacity at the local level. They got a hard hit. They had 2 hurricanes in 10 weeks, 2 major hurricanes in 10 weeks. So it's not only just getting food out. We had over 3,200 different problems with the roadway network that were reported, where bridges have been wiped out, where flooding has taken out the roads. So just being able to push commodities down these arteries has been tough enough.
And we've also seen the mayor out there in the water as well. She just said she thought FEMA's heart was in the right place, that it's starting to cut through the red tape right now. Do you really think the Puerto Ricans haven't been pulling their weight?
Oh, I believe the Puerto Ricans are pulling their weight. I mean, I think they're doing what they can. The bottom line is the question is that a local mayor's job is to push commander's intent down to his or her troops. And in many cases, that commander's intent from a mayor down to their troops has to be aligned with what the governor's priorities are, as well as FEMA. That's called joint priorities. And the bottom line is that we're not only fixing roadway networks, we're doing emergency power. We're getting fuel to hospitals. We've opened up 700 gas stations. The private sector grocery retail industry has come up to about 50%, as I understand it. Telecom's been turned on to 1/3 of Puerto Rico, which is why we're asking people to try to call into the FEMA system, but also register across the line. But I also have disaster assistance employee teams that are inundating Puerto Rico, going door to door, neighborhood to neighborhood, to try to get people registered. And over the last 42 days, FEMA has registered nearly 3 million people for assistance from all of the disasters, starting with Harvey and over. The other complexity of what FEMA's facing is that yesterday we were involved in 20 states and 2 island territories helping people overcome disasters and manage through the recovery process. The complexity of this job and the Herculean effort by these people, behind me and the federal government has been incredible.
You all have faced an incredible challenge over this last month. There's no question about that at all. Is everything on track now in Puerto Rico?
We got a long way to go. And the bottom line is that we can only push as logistically far as the situation allows. And what I mean by that is yesterday we had to implement additional evacuations from the Oaxaca Dam again because of the rainfall and the flash flooding reports that were put out. So, where we're finding success in one area, and in some areas we see setbacks, but we are making progress, in my opinion. So, it's a slow progress, and we have to remember that there was a weak infrastructure. I mean, call it as it is. The weak infrastructure, lack of building codes, the place was wiped out, not by one hurricane, but by 2.
Mr. Long, thanks very much for your time this morning. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.